Hey guys, this is an artist you need to get your eyes on. Paladin, a project by our guest today, Dux Newton, have just released their new song Canal, which we are going to chat all about today. Welcome, Dux.
Thanks, dude. Thanks so much for having me. It's great
My
to be with you guys in
pleasure.
action.
My pleasure. Canal has been out for nearly a month now. Tell everyone what the song is about and the meaning behind the name.
Yeah. So about a month now. It's about, so Canal, the word is a word from my dad's tribe. So my dad's from the Torres Strait Islands. It's about, I guess, conceptually the idea of sort of getting to a certain age, and I grew up well away from that community and well away from that culture. So realizing that there's sort of missing links within my heritage, and I guess sort of a vow to get myself back in touch with those roots, and that, you know, whilst I haven't grown up with it and whilst it's not ever present in my life, that it's always there and I can always come back at some point. So yeah, about sort of history and family ties and rediscovering heritage.
Amazing. The song itself musically builds to this really beautiful point that when I first listened to it, I don't think I was quite expecting it. It just kind of feels like a journey itself. So on the song, you do vocals as well as playing guitar and bass. How did all of these pieces come together writing wise?
Yeah, I tend to, like, when I write in general, it sort of all happens in my head, and I don't do a lot for ages. I don't hit record on anything for months. So I kind of craft it and play with it in my head for a long time, and then finally sit down and hash it out. So I usually have a pretty solid idea of what the song's going to sound like before I get into the studio, which is my bedroom. But yeah, then I'll write the drums at home, program the drums, and I got a drummer in this track who's an incredible drummer called Pete Drummond, ironic name, from Melbourne, great session guy, and then build from there. And then I just kind of duplicate the things that I've had in my head for forever and come out with something that hopefully is, you know, I'm happy with and other people can enjoy too.
Oh, I'm definitely enjoying it. The first time I listened to the song, I was watching the lyric video at the same time, and I kind of felt like the lyric video was hugely impactful to make up the story of the song. I felt like I was on this discovery journey with you while I was watching it. Can you talk me through the video and I guess the artists that made it and how that concept came to be?
Yeah. So I guess, you know, the video is in line with the track sonically, the lyrics and all the artwork that I've done for it. I guess it's pulling from the colors of the Torres Strait, to put it bluntly, and the flag and the sea and the islands and the ocean, which is, you know, kind of blue and green sort of motif. So the video definitely kind of highlights that kind of aesthetic as far as colors, but lyrically, it kind of draws from that theme of being away from a sense of being and not being at home for a very long time, or not feeling at home for a very long time. But I wanted this great guy from Egypt do the video for me. But I wanted it to be simple and just focus on the lyrics and paint a picture and paint a theme, which it did really well. So super happy with it.
Yeah, and I love that you said that you wanted to keep it really simple, because it was simple but impactful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And was it a conscious choice? Because I mean, the song came out on the 21st of January. Was it a conscious choice for you to put this out during the week of Invasion Day?
It was always on my mind, to be honest, that was, you know, happening, and I'd wanted to release that around that time of year. I always struggle to, never sure whether to politicize that time of year with my music. I think it's a conversation to be had, and I'm definitely on board with the change the date movement and all that stuff as an Indigenous person. It wasn't strategic in the sense that I wanted to release it just then, but it felt right to me that I was putting out music as an Indigenous artist, but also that it was about Indigenous heritage around that time, and building the conversation and getting it out there.
Conversation that seems to be feeling like it's going somewhere, but still has a long way to go.
100%, still a long way to go, but I think it's much more present in people's minds. And I think the newer generations of Australians are realizing what it means and are starting to get on board. It's still a slow tug of war, but we made a lot of ground in the last like 10 years, I think. So it's very positive.
I absolutely agree. Now, side note, Lachlan Watt from the Racket gave this track a 5 out of 5, which is essentially unheard of. How did that feel? How did that feel for you?
Oh, dude, it's great. I mean, to have Lockie listen to it and have it spun on the J's is great as it is. It's always hard to know what people like punters, let alone the media, think. It's hard to get that feedback quickly and honestly, but to have that just blew me away. I was stoked. Like, it's just a figurehead in the heavy music scene and the music scene in general. Just, yeah, it just made everything, 110%.
A very beautiful and well-earned piece of acknowledgement, I think.
Thank you.
Where did the journey into making and listening to heavy music come from for you?
It's a long story, but I guess keeping it brief, I probably was exposed to kind of heavy music when I was younger. My stepdad had all these old Akadaka and Rose Tattoo vinyls and Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath kicking around. So I was kind of, over by this crazy magic that was happening there. I was like, I need to do that one day because it's incredible.
Yes.
But then I guess through high school, kind of me and my mates got into heavy music, and I never went down the emo path and like the screamo path until probably a bit later, but I was definitely in the new metal kids pack,
Nice.
which is like tail between the legs now. But yeah, like, super into like Limp Bizkit and System of a Down, and then moved into heavier and more complex stuff kind of as I grew as a listener, and then fell in love with bands like Tool early on, who remain my favorite band to this day. So yeah, it's a journey, but I think everybody kind of my generation starts around the same era, like the tail end of the MTV era, listening to those kind of bands and Blink and all that kind of stuff. So I was definitely in that zone, and then yeah, grew from there.
Yeah, it was definitely a great time to be like coming out with my own music taste when all of that stuff was coming out.
100%. Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
It was an experimental age. Sure.
Yes, absolutely. And definitely don't have your tail between your legs for being into new metal. All of us were. Whether people want to admit it or not, we all loved it.
Whether you admit it or not, absolutely. And to be honest, some of those albums are still bangers. Like, I still listen to some of those old Limp Bizkit albums, and they're like, you guys are pretty sick, to be honest.
Yeah, and then they're making like a resurgence now, and it's completely different yet still so good.
Totally, yeah. Like bands like Alpha Wolf doing that kind of new metalcore stuff. It's great.
So, okay, Part Paladin is such a fresh project. We have 2 songs now. Can we get any insight into future plans? I mean, I definitely want more. So what's on your agenda that you can share?
Yeah, I guess my biggest enemy is procrastination. So it took me a year between these first singles. So I vowed not to do that again, and I'm kind of keeping the ball rolling now and hitting the ground running. So I'm recording now, follow-up single, and just want to get something out there as quick as possible. So next couple of months, I think I'm going to have something out into the world again.
Awesome. I mean, I think this song still has a lot of life in it. So let's get that out to people and just make everyone hungry for more, just like I am.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, everyone, you can hear Kadal playing on The Faction now. Head to Part Paladin socials to get it on streaming platforms, and please keep your eye out for where Dux takes Part Paladin. They're going to be huge. Thank you so much, Dux.
Thanks so much, Lily. Pleasure.